choosing to muscle through and be disciplined is actually not going to work. Like scientifically not going to work, because we are so wired to do the things that we have always already done easily. So make the cues of your good habits obvious and make the cues of your bad habits invisible. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. It's time for another quickie because there's always time to fit in inspiration. And Chris and I are now in our California home for a few months, and I couldn't be happier. I love getting back to California. We live in Newport Beach area, and I'm telling you, the second I get here, I'm like, oh my God, the moisture in the air is so freaking amazing. And also, I just love the energy here. There's always something going on, and I love being right in the center of the activity and living in a walkable neighborhood. Because when I'm here, I hardly even take my car out. I literally just walk everywhere, and that has always been my dream. And so, you know, when we lived in Santa Monica, we had that, and then we moved to Scottsdale for a while into a neighborhood that was not like that. And we do split time, partially in Scottsdale and then also in Newport Beach, California. But when I'm here, we have the walkable neighborhood, and in Arizona, it's more of a driving area. So when I get back here, I'm like, yes, I love it. And I'm so excited. So I'm already doing all the things, walking nonstop, and just feel so lit up and inspired. So also, just depending on where you're at in life, I really believe that you should go spend time in the places that give you energy. If you can't live there, go try to spend some time there. Maybe book an Airbnb if you can. Go visit a friend, go couch surf for a little while, do whatever you can to get in that energy, because I think that your dreams get amplified when you're in those areas. So you guys, I'm still reading Atomic Habits, and I'll probably be done with this really soon because it's such a good book if you have not read it. And it's by James Clear. And I was reading something in here about your environment, and it just really affirmed about the times in my life when I have been able to create new habits, change habits, and reach the goals that I want. And it not only affirmed it, but it reminded me of how important it is. Speaking of environments, right? Getting yourself into the environments that make you feel really good. So I've always believed that your environment is stronger than your willpower. And the reason that I have believed this is because growing up, I grew up in a family where we bonded over food. We ate food when we were sad. We ate food when we were happy. All of my memories are always surrounded by food. It comforted us constantly. It was a reward. It was there for every single thing. I actually remember a lot of our entertainment being around going out to dinner, and also our drives. We would take just different drives throughout every single week. I don't know. This is a very Midwest thing that I'm telling you. We'd be like, want to go for a drive when you're bored? And we would go get ice cream cones or burgers, and we would just go drive and get food. And I remember that in the evenings, it was like we'd have dinner, and then we'd have seconds, and sometimes we'd have thirds. And then right after that, we would have snacks. So all night long, I was snacking. And I just remember thinking that this was who I was and that I would never be able to break these habits. And when I was 13 years old, I ended up going to a friend's house that was a couple hours away. And my parents had dropped me off at her house. Actually, we met halfway. And it was picked up halfway. Then we drove back with her parents. And when I was there, because it was so far away, they let me stay for a week. And this was the first time that I was away from my family for this long. I think it was actually 7 days, or maybe it turned into a little longer than that. And I got to their house. And at night, when it was snack time, when we were going to watch some TV and have a snack, I was like, hey, where's your snack drawer? Like, assuming everyone in the world had a snack drawer because everyone in my family had one. And she was like, what are you talking about? I was like, for snacks. Like, what are we going to snack on? And she literally looked at me and said, we have apples. And I remember being so disgusted. I was like, apples? Like, rude. What are you talking about? An apple? Like, when you want a snack, you want like some Twizzlers or chocolate or ice cream. I wanted all of the above and not an apple. And so I continued, obviously, to stay for the week. And their family was very different. They were super active. We hardly ended up watching TV. We were out all day long playing. We were out running around and doing all the things out in the woods. And then in the evening, her mom would just cook like a normal dinner, nothing crazy healthy, but nothing terrible. And then after that, we just wouldn't snack. And, during the day, we would just make one sandwich and that's what it looked like. And I ended up going home and I noticed that my clothes were already loose. I went and I felt really good. Like I didn't really have the anxiety that I normally have. I wasn't groggy. I was always a tired kid. Like I remember not wanting to go out and play ever because I was just tired because I was eating crap. And I felt really, really good. And I went home and weighed myself and I lost 5 pounds. And I had never done that before. And it was the first time I realized that my environment was stronger than my willpower, that you actually become a product of your environment. And when you get yourself out of the environment that you're in, and I understand that not everyone can do that, that is going to change your life, that you have to work simultaneously on your environment while you are working on the new habit change, right? While you're trying to eat healthier, you also have to look at the environmental triggers that are making you do it, or the environmental people that are making you do it. Hey y'all, if you didn't know, Earn Your Happy is now a part of the Growth Day Podcast Network. This is so exciting to me because I have been looking for a really good home for the show for, I can't even tell you, years, literally. And now I've finally been able to come together and collaborate with other people who have incredible shows, and I want to share them with you. One of the shows is Motivation with Brendon Burchard. And you guys, if you don't know about the beginning of my career, I literally started with Brendon Burchard's work. It's how I launched one of my very first online courses and membership sites, was because he gives so much advice that you can integrate and implement immediately. And that's what you're going to get on the show. Not just motivation, but you're going to learn exactly how to get your stuff out in the world. And not just that, but Brendon runs in the most incredible group of humans who are really doing the thing out in the world that you want to be doing. So go check it out. Go subscribe to Motivation with Brendon Burchard. I promise you, this is going to be one of those shows that no matter when you tune in, you're going to get value. Like, it's not one of those that you're like, God, I listened for 30 minutes and I didn't get what I wanted. Like, from the beginning, you're going to get something that changes your life or changes your business. So go check it out. Motivation with Brendon Burchard. I know you're going to love it. I'm obsessed. Now, it's really interesting, obviously, because I was 13 years old and I have this realization, and I have from 13 to 18 to still live with my family. So I really, really struggled with now knowing this fact of, wow, when I go somewhere else, when I'm around healthy people, I get healthy. So you can imagine all of the emotions that come with wanting to blame, resenting the people that you're around. But then also I really did my best to try to change as much as my environment as I could. And while I still did get a little healthier, I still really struggled, meaning instead of doing all the things that they would do in the evening, as soon as I could when I was 16, I got a gym membership and I would try to go to the gym, and I would also go for walks, and I would try to get out of that environment during the trigger times. So I couldn't fully be away from it, but also instead of sitting around and watching TV every night and snacking, I would try to go up to my room and do something else, whether it was something creative or whether it was talking on the phone to a friend. I would just notice that my environmental cues were the things that were making me do the things. So looking at your life right now, when are you cued up to go and do the habit that you don't want to do? Because you don't have to become the victim of your environment. In the book, he says you don't have to be the victim of your environment. You can be the architect of it. So whether you are kind of stuck in a place right now where you can't necessarily leave a place, a person, family, whatever that looks like, how can you start to be the architect of something a little different? Because little changes matter. I know right now you might be like, I need to change everything. It's the little minute changes that are going to get you the big changes. And honestly, that's how habits work the best, is shifting them little by little. So instead of thinking that you have to be crazy disciplined, you really need to start looking at how can you restructure your environment. And people would always say to me after I moved out and got into fitness, they were like, oh my God, you're so fit. You have crazy willpower. I even remember my mom saying that to me all the time. She'd be like, well, you're just different than us. You have crazy willpower. And I'm like, willpower. I just literally don't let that stuff into my environment. Like I try my best to not have snacks, like a ton of snacks in my environment. And if I do, I make sure that they're healthy. And even with that, I have to really know what my healthy trigger snacks are. And it's not like I'm perfect. I keep things in the house. I just know that if I keep certain things in the house, like for me, if I keep a lot of like, I don't know, for example, I'm trying to think, I'm more savory. But if I keep a lot of crackers around the house, or if I keep things out, especially on the counter, I'm going to snack on them. So if I have snacks, I kind of put them out of sight, out of mind. And also for the healthy habits that you want, whether it's reading or working out, you have to make those things easy. You have to make the tough things hard, or you have to make the bad habits hard, and you have to make the habits that you want extremely easy. So recently I've been trying to take my vitamins again, and I've been having to put them out on the counter, buy a bottle of water. I'm talking like even just on the counter wasn't enough, because if there wasn't a bottle of water there, I still was not taking them. I know it sounds crazy, but there's some things that you just have to make that so crazy easy that that's how it's going to happen. So don't wish you were more disciplined. Really start looking at your environment and seeing how you can make these tiny tweaks. So I hope that this reminds you that it's not necessarily just you. It is the environment that you are continuing to be in without looking at that first. Because choosing to muscle through and be disciplined is actually not going to work. Like scientifically not going to work, because we are so wired to do the things that we have always already done easily. So make the cues of your good habits obvious and make the cues of your bad habits invisible. That's what James Clear says. Make the cues of your good habits obvious and the cues of your bad habits invisible. So if you are like me right now, maybe leaving things in plain sight, like books, like your vitamins, having them right there, and remembering that in order to shift your identity, you have to really start thinking like that person. What would a healthy person do right now? It's not the big things. It's the little things. Even if it's a healthy person would notice that they need to go to the grocery store and get some more healthy things in their kitchen because they don't have them. So start just asking yourself that, and you'd be really surprised some of the answers that come up, right? What would a really productive person do right now? Well, if I'm exhausted, maybe I'd go for a walk and listen to a podcast, or just go for a walk to change my environment and try to go get some more energy. When you start asking yourself better questions, you're going to get better answers. So I'm sending you guys so much love. I'm so grateful for you. Do me a favor. If you love this, text it to someone or share it on the interwebs. Share it on Instagram or social media, because that is how a podcast gets out. So if you've gotten value from this at all, I would love if you would share the link with this particular episode on your Instagram. It makes a huge difference, you guys. And I know that if I don't ask, you don't get a result, right? So take that into your life and your business and make sure that you're asking, because most people want to help. Okay, until next time, earn your happy. Bye, everyone.
Hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast that you have big dreams and big goals. And one of the things that can really stop you is struggling with your marketing. Trust me, I have been there. Are you using 10 different systems just to build your online business? Then I want you to try Kajabi. Kajabi helps you build your web pages, set up funnels, and sell your courses, content, coaching, or communities. You've been hearing me talk a lot about funnels on this podcast and the importance of your email list. You can get a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com. I've talked about Kajabi before, but here's something that's super cool and new. They just rolled out an AI assistant for creating your online course curriculum. And this means you just type in a topic that you want to create on a course or webinar, and bam, it just generates a sample outline for you. It takes a ton of the hard work away. Of course, you're going to customize it to be your own, but this really helps you get over the struggle of how in the world to start which is where most people stop. If you're like me, starting is always the hardest part, and that's what makes Kajabi so popular. They've made it easier for creators to build web pages, build courses, build coaching programs, build membership sites, build checkout pages, and build email funnels. So if you're struggling with any of those, you got to go check it out. Go to kajabi.com. Kajabi was really the first all-in-one system and is trusted by over 100,000 creators. I think that's good enough for me. Also has influencers and marketers who use this. And now their smart AI platform makes it easy to take what you know and turn it into an online course and business. Go start building with a free trial at kajabi.com. That's kajabi.com.
Hey all, I'm so excited to share with you, Earn Your Happy is now part of Growth Day Podcast Network. A bunch of us are coming together to bring more growth to the world and support shows and brands that we truly believe in. And one of my friends is also on the network, and I'd love for you to go subscribe to his show. You guys, Trent Shelton has the most incredible podcast. It's called Straight Up with Trent Shelton, and it's going to remind you that you are built for this. I have heard Trent speak in person multiple times. I've listened to his podcast a ton. He's coming on the show, and I literally cannot wait because this man just spits straight fire. It is like truth that goes to your core and makes you take action right away. If you want one of those podcasts that when you're just out on a walk, you can't help but want to start running and run through a wall in your life, this is the show to go listen to. So you guys make sure that you go subscribe to the show Straight Up with Trent Shelton. You're going to love it.